Hey everyone, and welcome back to Ask the Attorney right here on Open Line. You're watching News Channel 5 Plus. We've got our special guest Kevin Kennedy joining us. He's giving you free legal advice tonight. All you have to do is call into the number there on your screen. We're here till 8 o'clock tonight, so just feel free to give us a ring. And you know, some folks have to hold for a couple minutes, but he will eventually get to your questions. And it's just such a great opportunity to get this, again, free legal advice from Kevin Kennedy. And Kevin Kennedy is joining us from the Kennedy Law Firm. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, Casey. And to all the viewing audience tonight, thank you for looking in. We're always grateful. I'm delighted when I get to do a show with Casey. She's a lot of personality and a lot of fun. And I'll say this, she is one of the people that loves to speak to you. So if you're out, stop her and talk to her. And I'm the same way. It doesn't bother us in the least. People sometimes say, Kevin, we can't eat dinner because everybody wants to. And I really love to share. And it's not worth anything. If I've got this knowledge and I don't share it, I feel like I'm a loser because I hadn't been able to take this news and knowledge and share it and help somebody.
Oh, that's right, Kevin. You and I, we're two friendly folks, except for, you know, we love being in the studio together, but right now you are joining us via Zoom. Thanks to the power of technology, we still get to talk with you, which I'm thankful for.
Yes, I'm thankful for it too.
All right, so we have a couple of callers that have been waiting. We have a Christopher here on line 4. Hi, Christopher. Welcome to Open Line. What's your question for Kevin Kennedy? You're on. Can you hear us, Christopher? Double check one more time before we move on. Christopher, you're on Open Line. All right, well, if
we may have missed him.
We may have missed him, but that's okay, Christopher. Just give us a call back. We'll put you back on that list there because we have some other callers we're going to go ahead and get to. On line 1 here, we should have Rhonda. Hi, Rhonda. What's your question tonight?
Just letting Grandpa know that all of his grandkids are watching him on TV tonight.
Well, that's good news, grandkids. They're all, you know, my daughter's married to a Lincoln, so all those little boys are little Lincolns, the Kennedy Lincoln link. So I'm glad y'all called in, and that's pretty neat. When I heard that, Rhonda, I thought that might be who that would be.
I love it.
Okay.
Oh, it's so great to talk with you, Rhonda. Thanks for tuning in. That's a great
Get
thing,
her
I'm
off
sure.
the line. She might tell a secret on me. Come on, Case. Pull the team together.
I love it. I love it. I know it's great because, you know, you are located there in Clarksville at the Kennedy Law Firm. So I'm sure a lot of your family and friends are tuning in tonight. So hello to all of you as well from the News Channel 5 Plus studio where they have me tonight. So.
You know, one of the things I like to tell people, they say, well, what about, you know, it's always dangerous when you teach all the people around you all your secrets and tricks because they ever get agitated, then they already know. Now they say, well, how did they learn that? They learned it from me. So, you know, I spent a lot of time trying to teach the boys and my daughter the things to protect them in their lives. One of my main assistants here at the office had a real bad car wreck within the week. And of course, you know, the COVID really didn't want to take her to the emergency room. The EMS, you know, they didn't really want to. And I said, golly, the girl's standing there and she's hurting. So they ultimately took her, and it was the right thing to do. But, you know, everybody has to make some judgment calls in this unique time. And what I was thinking, you need to get that will. One more thing. If you couldn't get into your mom or dad and they wanted to do this and they put it off, y'all can't imagine how many people. There is a flood because everybody recognizes this needs to be done. And I've already told you to use the yellow pad. It's better than nothing, the holographic will. And it's a good time. If your mom and dad's not gone, go get the power of attorney. That will help you make financial decisions if something happened. It gets back to the big trust factor. Do you trust your friends? Do you want a hospital administrator you don't know making decisions for you, Case? Or do you want someone that you love and trusted that can make a life or death decision, medically speaking? You ought to get those documents. There's no age time that you shouldn't have it. It makes a lot of sense. And I think you should encourage your family to do it. And especially right now when things are a little off kilter, get your documents, get your things in affair. I represented the painter, and I never will forget. I said, I guess your house, he said, no, you know, I paint for everybody, but I don't get my house painted. It's kind of like the lawyer, you need to get your home in order. So all our people up there can listen and learn from me tonight. Take a proactive approach. Don't wait till something happens. You say, well, I wish we had done that.
Wonderful. All right, we have another caller here on line 3. Hi there, Teresa. Can you hear us here on Open Line? You are on.
Yes, thank you. My question, sir, is unfortunately I lost my husband a little over 2 years ago. We had a very young daughter at the time. She just turned 11. She really had a lot of anger, needless to say. She's in a facility at this time. I had a doctor to call me a week after the fact, but somehow my child got a hold of a pair of shoelaces, tied them around her neck so tight that if it wasn't for another adolescent walking by her room, she would have been passed away. I have called the facility. They cannot give me any wording on where she could have got the shoelaces. I'm just wanting to know in your professionalism how I would proceed on this. I think I already know, but getting no answer from this facility.
Okay, and thank you for calling. I want to say I'm very sorry to hear that report about your family. I also am grateful that you're sharing this because so many people may not have had a family member to have to be placed in an institution or inside some kind of state facility. Okay, when you go inside there, they take on the responsibility. We've got a host of laws out there that they carry liability, meaning if someone were to say, hey, I'm going to kill myself, then they've been made aware. If they don't take precautions and someone did kill themselves, then that would bring civil liability where a lawyer would bring a wrongful death. If we knew these people are on suicide watch and they do not watch them, it's negligence. What is negligence? That's when you have damages, and obviously, if someone hung themselves, if it killed them, there's big damages. And if you didn't know this, you can take that shoestring and you can do permanent brain damage from just holding it long enough to kill brain cells. And so in my work over the years, I've seen everything. And again, be careful about putting your hands around somebody's neck when you try to hold them at bay. And that's domestic violence. There's a big uptick in domestic violence. Vast majority of people that they're really acting on right now is domestic violence. So report it if you think on it, monitor it for a loved one. And so many people have family and friends, they have never seen this. It's told, they don't teach it in school. So how do we learn? You learn from shows just like this. One of the biggest agitations in my professional career doesn't really make sense. Every American is held to a high standard, but we've never been taught that you don't go to court. And where did you ever see the rules till you were in court? And you know, in the federal courts, many of those are so unbelievable, you can't speak to a juror. Well, you know, we're used in the South saying, hi, good morning. You're not supposed to even pick up a handkerchief for a lady. If she dropped it, someone would perceive that as attempted jury tampering, and a person can be charged for all these kinds of things. So what I'd say to you is if there is neglect, then you can immediately, and you know, they fire people all the time because they are incompetent or they used poor judgment. If that was what you wanted to pursue, you certainly have a right to do that, and you certainly have a right to tell the courts through a lawyer. You know, the other thing is they are on notice now. So if something happened, boy, their liability escalates. Thank you for your call, and I'm so sorry for your circumstance.
All right, let's get to Marcus on line 5. Hi, Marcus. What's your question for Kevin Kennedy tonight on Open Line?
How you doing? I got a auntie that's confused. She's 84 years old. She's working Goodwill, and she's in the house all day. She's 84 years old. She's confused and stuff. I'm trying to wonder what I can do to help her out. I go there and check on her. She looks out the window and open the door for me. And I wonder what can I do to help her out.
Okay. You've got a unique circumstances. I'd like to answer this question. I use hypotheticals a lot of times, and they say, Kevin, why do you use hypotheticals? Because it's an easy way to explain your rights when you can hear it. First off, as a general rule in the law, you are competent as long as you have your mind. There's gray areas. And so your lawyer would obviously try to protect you and whatnot. If a person has some memory loss or has a little confusion, But when they have lucid moments, what is a lucid moment? They know who their children are. They know their property. They have an understanding. They can write a will. If a person reaches a point of incapacity that they cannot communicate one with another, that's done. You cannot do a will because they don't have the power, mental power, to give you a power of attorney or to give you a will. And when it reaches that point, really about the only thing you have is a conservatorship. What is that? You file with the court. You say, let me become the conservator of my mother. She cannot handle her affairs. Usually need 2 doctors to say that they recommend the conservator, that they can't make good decisions. We see horrendous stories in my career where a neighbor may come over and have a deed fixed up and let the elderly people sign their house over to someone. Well, you know that's not right. And so they said, well, here, sign this, and then I'll record it when you die. Well, there's a whole lot of arguments that can be made. Was that a constructive trust or an implied trust? And people that are placed in trust have a fiduciary duty. They have to look after that. You can't breach that. And so that's why you need a lawyer to try to help. So what I always like to say is, if they have lucid moments and they don't have their affairs in order, then if they do have a lucid moment, you can contact a lawyer and help them to get their affairs straight. If they're too far gone, then the only thing left would be a conservatorship. And lots of families do that for a child, and some people don't even want to deal with it. But friends could do it, and they do it. Thank you for your call.
Yes, thanks for tuning in and give us a call tonight on Open Line. You're watching Ask the Attorney with Kevin Kennedy. Let's get right next to our next question. We have Robert on the line. Hi, Robert. What is your question tonight?
I wanted to ask the attorney about divorce law in the state of Tennessee.
Great. And what's your question tonight?
I wanted to know, I had a nephew that had got incarcerated, and during the time he was incarcerated, his wife filed for a divorce, and she got all 100%. I wanted to know if he have any legal recourse because he was married to 20-something years.
Yes, he does have legal recourse. And in the state of Tennessee, to do a divorce, you have to serve a person. So if you serve a person, they have 30 days to respond in Tennessee. If you've got resources to get a lawyer, if you can't get one, you can go to legal aid. You say, well, I'm incarcerated. I can't do anything. Remember, you have the right to represent yourself in the state of Tennessee. You can write and say, this is Kevin Kennedy, and I'm responding to the divorce complaint filed in Montgomery County, Tennessee, of where my wife has filed for me, and I can admit, deny, and deny that she has a right to a divorce. And I would request a hearing, and I would show where I was, and then it places it on the judge. The judge has a lot of leeway on what he will grant and what he won't grant. So, and if that went down, you need to know what the circumstances, because if he were released and he said, I didn't have a part of that, he can file motions to set that aside based on fraud.
All right, thanks again for all those calls coming in tonight. Again, the number is going to be right there on your screen until we fill up our hour till 8 o'clock here with Kevin Kennedy. But right now, we're going to go ahead and take another quick break. Keep it right here and give us a call if you have a question.